Hi there, I'm Angela, and today I have a pattern review for you. Stay tuned. Hey friends, welcome or welcome back. I'm so happy that you've tuned in today, and I hope you find this review helpful. And we are going to be reviewing Simplicity S8843. And if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you've heard me talk about this pattern and jacket a bunch. I did the sneak peek last week and also a reveal on last Friday. I'll put a link to those above or in the description notes below. So this is actually the official quote-unquote pattern review. A couple of you have expressed interest in that. So I'll go more into detail, in-depth detail about the pattern itself and then my experience making the pattern, things I liked, didn't like quite as much, and show you some things on the jacket that I think are worth pointing out. So this will probably be the last time that we talk about this jacket on the channel. Thanks for hanging in there with me. This was a very fun project, and hopefully you will find this pattern review helpful. So with that, let's jump right in. So this is the pattern, Simplicity S8843, and it's an anorak. It's Mrs. Anorak with or without hood. It does come with 4 variations, and I will talk about what those variations are. So the variations include hood or no hood, zipper, placket, or an exposed zipper, and I'll point that out here in a second. Open pockets or pockets with a flap that snaps down, and then the way that the sleeve is hemmed at the end, either open sleeve or sleeve with elastic at the end to kind of cinch the sleeves up a little bit. So to show you more detail about what I meant by the zippers, so I did view B, which has an exposed zipper. I apologize if that's a little blurry. I'm not sure if I can get it any clearer. And then the other zipper variation has that little flap, or I don't know if that's a placket that kind of covers up the zipper there. And it looks like that even might snap down. So with that, I did make view B. So the one I made has a hood, it has the exposed zipper, it has open pockets and open sleeves. The fabrics that the pattern calls for are cotton types, gabardine, lightweight denim, linen types, twill, lightweight wool types, and view C you can also make in organza, which is what this model is wearing there. When I first saw this pattern cover, I wondered if that was some kind of like clear vinyl type material and to make it more like a funky, fun kind of raincoat, but it's actually organza. So that's quite the different look, but I did not do that one. There are 2 size ranges that the pattern comes in, extra, extra small to medium and large to double XL. So the pattern that I have is the large to double XL, and I'll give you the full range of bust measurements. So the double extra small has a bust of 29.5 inches, and then the double XL goes up to a bust of 48 inches. So I cut the large at the bust line, grading down to an extra large at the hip area. And just for reference, my measurements are 42 to 43 bust, depending on the day of the month, and about a 45 to 46 hip. So yes, so I cut large at the bust and then grading down to the XL at the hip. I found the instructions to be very easy to follow, and I pretty much made the jacket exactly as specified. The only change that I made was to add a lining, and I'll show you that. And I did line it with a flannel. I didn't have enough of that flannel to line the sleeves, so I just left the sleeves unlined, and I think that that worked out just fine. In fact, it probably will make the jacket sleeves easier to get on and off if I'm wearing maybe a long sleeve knit top, so the fabrics don't brush up against each other and kind of stick and cause your shirt sleeve to ride up. So yeah, the sleeves will just slide right in. The outer fabric that I used, I believe it was a lycra polyester blend. I keep forgetting because it was such an unusual type of fabric for me to sew with. So I'll post that like on the screen here so you guys will know what I sewed with. And it is very lightweight. So I think that if I had not added a lining to it, it would have been like an extremely thin, lightweight jacket. Not that that's a bad thing, and we certainly have times of the year when we could wear something like that, but the fabric was almost so thin and lightweight that it would have kind of been like, what's the point of making a jacket with this fabric? So the flannel lining really gave it nice thickness and body. So I'm really glad that I chose to line it. Yeah, so now I'm going to show you a couple of things and details that I really liked about the jacket or that I found interesting, and then talk about like the only thing that I didn't quite like, and it's not a deal breaker at all, totally workable. So the first thing that I really loved about this jacket was the hood construction, and it is a three-piece hood construction. So it has like two side pieces and then like a thicker, maybe like a 5-inch like center piece that each side piece gets stitched to. I love the look of that, and I also feel like it helps the hood to lay more nicely when you're wearing it down, like against your upper back and shoulders. I feel like it lays more nicely than some things I've made with hoods where the hood was just a center seam or like a one-piece hood. Also, I think what helped the hood turn out so nicely was that it has pleats, like one on each side. So here in a second, I will take you over to the jacket and show you those details. Let's see. The other thing that I liked was, since I did the version that just had the open pockets with no flap, I feel like that because those are kind of have a slanted top opening, and I'll show you that too and it'll make more sense. It makes it easier to like get your hand inside the pocket, and the jacket does not have side seam pockets. So there's kind of like if you wanted to put your hands in a pocket, having the slanted top line of the pocket makes it easier to like slip your hands in your pockets. And if you did the version where the pocket had a flap that kind of flapped over and snapped, you really wouldn't have any place to put your hands if like you wanted to put your hands inside of your jacket. You would have to add side seam pockets to it. Let's see, then the other thing I want to point out with the drawstring casing, there were of course markings on the pattern where the casing should go, but historically I've had real issues when I've bought ready to wear jackets and coats that have a drawstring, and it seems like the waistline or where that drawstring casing falls on me for my likes and dislikes, it always falls too high up on me, not at my natural waistline, and that like drives me batty. That's one of my hugest pet peeves. In fact, the winter coat, like heavy winter coat that I've been using for a couple of years now, I love the coat, and I got it at a department store. The only thing that drives me crazy is the drawstring sits up a little too high for me, and it's just like a little bit bothersome. I would rather have it a little bit lower down and sit at my natural waist. So I added the drawstring casing, of course, after the jacket was constructed, but I tried the jacket on and then made markings based on me wearing the jacket where I wanted that drawstring to fall. So I would recommend doing that in case you like if you are taller or shorter than the pattern is drafted for, or maybe you're short-waisted, long-waisted, whatever, or if you're just like me, finicky about how your drawstring sits on your waistline, definitely try it on before marking placement for your drawstring casing. So I want to show you the details about the hood here, and you can see that there's a couple of things to point out. One, the three pieces there, and kind of bring it around to the front. You can see how it looks on the front opening edge. I love that. I love that. I like the way it looks, so it's a nice design, but I really do think it helps the hood lay nicely. And then the other thing is the pleats on the hood here. So there's one on each of the side pieces. And then when I made the lining, I just did the same thing. It's the 3-piece hood, and then I also did those pleats there. So just like a mirror image or a copy of the outer hood. Another thing that I wanted to show you is, since I went with the version where the zipper tape and zipper are exposed, and I used a navy blue to kind of coordinate nicely with the khaki of the outer fabric, I did use a navy blue twill for the drawstring, just to kind of go with that, so it kind of keeps that theme of the khaki and the navy. And I'm really thrilled with the way that that turned out. So I didn't actually use an actual drawstring. It's just like a thick twill tape. I did not find any cord stoppers that I really liked. There was some black plastic ones that I found, and I think if I was going to use a cord stopper, I would probably want a metal one that's in this antique brass color, just to keep the look kind of consistent. So what I did was I tried tying it here, like cinching it as much as I like it, like exactly where I like it, and then tying a knot right there. But what that left was like kind of big fluffy, like poofed out bow right here on each side of the front of the jacket, and it kind of got in the way when I was zipping the zipper up. So now what I decided was that I would just, after putting the jacket on and zipping it up, tie both of the drawstrings together, and I will show you that when I present some pictures of me wearing the jacket and kind of illustrate what I'm talking about. And then to show you about the pockets, so you can see here what I mean about the top edge of the pocket being a little bit slanted. It's not pronounced, it's just slightly slanted, but I think that that slight little slant is enough to make it a lot easier to kind of just like slip your hands into. Like if it's chilly and maybe you're out at a ball game or something and you want to put your hands in pockets, there's no side seam pockets. So that kind of works there. So the jacket did turn out pretty roomy, which is not a bad thing. And it does have a little bit of like a slightly dropped sleeve seam. I'll point that out on the pattern here for you. So here's the line drawing, and you can see that the seam where the arms attach, or the sleeves attach, is not straight up at your like shoulder. It's kind of dropped down a little bit, which I kind of liked. At first I was a little bit, when I tried the jacket on, like test fitting along the way, I was a little concerned, like before I actually had attached the sleeves, I was concerned that it would like restrict like arm motion like that, but it doesn't really at all. And it is pretty roomy, like all in the bust area and sleeves, it's pretty roomy. In fact, the sleeves are quite roomy, and if I make this again, I would consider maybe narrowing the sleeves just a little bit, not a whole lot, just a smidge. Or not, they're not terrible. But if I did forget to say it at the beginning of the video, this pattern was published in 2019, so it's definitely still out there available in print. So now I'm going to go ahead and ask and provide the answers to the 3 questions that I always ask myself every time I finish a make. And the first one is, do I like the way it turned out? This is a resounding yes. I love this jacket so much. I've worn it several times already, and while we are finally starting to get to those warmer temperatures that I love, now I'm kind of like, no, hold off. Let's let cold spring linger a little bit so I can keep wearing my jacket without waiting till fall. So yeah, I totally love the jacket. The second question is, would I make it again? And that's another yes. I would like to try the other version that has the front covered zipper placket on it, and with the pocket flaps that snap down. Also, I think it would be fun to make this in like a little bit of a brighter fabric, a little bit cuter, like funner fabric. I liked the way I made this one out of that tan or beige colored fabric, just because it'll go with everything, and it's a little dressier than wearing my fleece that I wear all the time, and because I don't have a dressier jacket. But I also think it could be fun to make this out of a cute little quirky print. So that may be what I would try if I make this again. And the third question is, would I change anything? I think other than trying out some of the other variations or using like a different fabric, the only thing I would really change would be to maybe make the sleeve a little narrower, like I mentioned before, or definitely doing the elastic hemmed sleeves, or putting a cuff on it, or using like a knit cuff on it, something like that, because they're pretty, because the sleeves are so open and roomy inside, and then where it hits at your wrist is very like open. I think that if you're wearing this for any kind of warmth, then you're probably going to get a lot of cold air up under your sleeves, so that could be a factor. Plus, they just seem like they are kind of flappy, and I'd like to have it just a little bit more contained. So I think when I make this again, I will definitely do the elastic cased sleeve hems. So that's all that I have. I hope that you found this review helpful in case you are thinking about making this jacket. If you have any specific questions or anything that I didn't cover, please leave it in the comments below, and I'll be very happy to provide as much answer as I can to help you out. And until next time, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will talk to you later. Bye.